problem all day long, and a lot of people do that, but nothing ever happens. So basically, what I have done was I followed it all the way right down to the root, and I'm addressing the root causes of the problems, and I'm not addressing the symptoms. The symptoms can be addressed after the root's been addressed, but I'm focusing on the root, and the most important issues that I feel are here and that need to be addressed collectively as a planet and all life in the universe. So that's that. So before I get in any deeper there, what I want to do is go over something, and that is I want to talk about superpowers again, and connect a few dots for you here. I had this computer booted up, but then I closed the lid and it has to reboot. So in regards to superpowers, what we're talking about is mind over matter. And mind over matter is a phrase popularized during the 1960s and 70s that was originally used in reference to paranormal phenomena such as psychokinesis. However, it has also been used in reference to mind-centric spiritual and philosophic doctrines such as responsibility assumption. So now I'm going to click on responsibility assumption. Responsibility assumption is the doctrine that an individual has substantial or total responsibility for the events and circumstances that befall on them in their personal life, to a substantially greater degree than is normally thought. Strong adherents of responsibility assumption consider that whatever situation they find themselves in, their own past desires and choices must have led to that outcome. And this also connects to the mechanics of karma and the laws of the universe and the law of balance. The term responsibility assumption has a specialized meaning beyond the general concept of taking responsibility for something, and is not to be confused with the general notion of making an assumption that a concept such as responsibility exists. In particular, the general use of the term responsibility in everyday life and the legal field in particular is about assigning or apportioning blame for an event. Responsibility assumption suggests a greater ability to affect the future. So basically, if you are using the term responsibility and you are playing the blame game, which is just taking responsibility is apportioning blame, then you are not totally taking responsibility for your actions. In regards to reality, you're just apportioning blame to someone in regards to a handwritten law that could very well have been written by a terrorist. And one of the things that the universe is measuring you on, and all individuals on, is intelligence. So we want to make sure that that taking responsibility for your actions is completely understood, and understood in a way that relates to the activation of superpowers, the mechanics of karma, the laws of the universe, and passing the tester of life, and actually gaining and residing in a higher level of existence. And we've also connected the dots between that and psychokinesis. Now when you say you gain the superpower of flying, where you actually can physically take off because you've spiritually developed to the point where you have that good of a sense of your reality, and you're able to actually fly. There's going to be a lot of responsibility with that superpower, and you want to be using the laws of nature, the laws of creation, the laws of the universe as guidelines. Because you're not going to even be able to get off the ground if you're using most of the laws as guidelines that are set forth on this planet. And that's pretty much it. So I wanted to touch on that because that was very important. And prior to the human race, learning how to fly and exhibiting all sorts of superpowers, you have to really know that you need a keen sense of your reality, and you need to be able to take full responsibility for your actions in regards to reality and how it actually is, and in regards to the truth. So there's that. Okay. So that was the basic overview, and now I'm going to go over each industry. So the first industry we're going to talk about is the space industry and space operations. Due to the fact that we're on a dying planet, and once the investigations in regards to the laws of creation in the universe have been done, you'll see that we're breaking the laws of the universe with these nuclear fission generating stations, and that it's actually illegal to split atoms. And the laws of the universe are what the human race is supposed to be going by, and not just some law that somebody wrote that has no truth behind it. Space operations, the things that need to be done in space operations are assistance in the introduction of free energy. And this is also a convoluted thing because the IBEW is going to be doing the same thing. So if you're living as a saint, which means all you're doing is communicating clearly, directly, and honestly, and you're working in space operations, you're going to want to be able to be honest with a lineman. And the lineman's going to need to be honest with, it's got to be a two-way street, just clear, direct, honest communication. Another thing that needs to be done is we need to de-weaponize outer space. Right now, the government on this planet keeps putting weapons out in outer space and putting bombs and stuff out there, and the extraterrestrials don't want that stuff out there. And after making extraterrestrial contact, and and I'm not suggesting to anybody that you take my word for it. What I'm suggesting is that you make legitimate extraterrestrial contact and ask them yourselves. But if you're relying on me to make the contact for you, I'm telling you that's what needs to be done. And the most intelligent, courageous life in the universe, that's what they're saying. Then what we need to do is begin open and public contact with all benevolent extraterrestrial civilizations. Now there are, basically it is the military that is there are a lot of people who are communicating with extraterrestrial life in the universe, but what we want to do is do this openly and publicly and lovingly, and that is not being done. And because basically the media is covering that up. But that's why I say the media and space operations are extremely convoluted. Plus they have interdimensional capabilities with technology, both the media and the space operations do. So we want to use this information, this interdimensional technology and information, in a way that best serves the human race and holds the human race to its highest vision. The space shuttle. I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, other than just making common sense out of this, the space shuttle is a piece of junk. It's a piece of junk. And I don't know, what. The spaceships and that I have actually been on, and the ones that I've seen, are so far beyond the space shuttle that it's not even, I mean, there's no comparison. And to be shooting the space shuttle off in outer space, and a lot of times, uh, like in Apollo 18, that's going to be part of the homework to view the movie Apollo 18. But sometimes they shoot the space shuttle off and don't tell the astronauts the truth about what the mission is when they go off. And sometimes they get shot out there, and the people on the ground know full well that the astronauts are never coming back. And basically, that'll never happen when I'm in charge of space operations. I'll make sure that all astronauts are fully informed as to what the mission is, and that you will come home. And if you're going on a Banzai mission, it'll be your choice to go on a Banzai mission. But hopefully, with the technology that exists, there is no Banzai mission that's necessary if we're using all the right stuff. And just to make common sense out of that, the space shuttle uses fuel, and the universe is infinite. So if you go out into an infinite universe with a limited supply of fuel, well, that's kind of some risky business right there. So, and there's no need for it, because there's spaceships that are far more advanced, and we should be utilizing these resources and helping humanity expand their consciousness and interacting with this very intelligent, benevolent life in the universe. And everything I'm saying now, I'm talking about space operations, and a lot of people might say, well, what makes you qualified to talk